are places in this world that I will remember forever. This is one of them. Welcome everyone to Green Hills over Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France. And let me take you on a tour through the town, which is visited by tens of thousands of pilgrims from all over the world every year. The town, which is located on 3 pilgrimage routes to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. The town, which was named for its location at the foot of the Pyrenees, not far from the pass that opens the entrance to the southern part of this mountain range. This is Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. I visited this town out of sheer nostalgia. I simply wanted to walk its streets just like I did 11 years ago, before I got my leg injured in the hills above this town. This injury ended my first solo journey through Europe. But now, I'm back. And I'm happy to say that the town hasn't changed much over the years. It is still a romantic town with a rich history that began in 12th century. Today, however, tourism is an integral part of its life. And it was the number of people who flow through the city center every summer day that forced me to go further into the mountains after a few hours. If you stay on the pilgrimage trail during your trek into the mountains like me, you will be free of the crowds at the border with Spain. And until then, you can wonder, like me, why someone goes on a religious or deeply spiritual pilgrimage on which they have to constantly bump into new and new people and exchange opinions with them about the weather or the difficulty of the march every single day. It was here that I realized that popular trails full of people were not for me. But what does it matter? My silent and desolate path was in front of me, the crowds behind me, and right here, below the top of Urkulu, I said goodbye to my bicycle and continued on foot. The 113th night on the way I spent at this cave. Its name, in translation, means the place under the rock, and in hot summer days like this one, it serves as a shelter for cattle and for hikers like me as well. The cave can be found on the bank of La Nive River, which stems from the surrounding slopes and flows through the town of Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. I did not meet anybody in here, but I believe that this place can get pretty busy during holidays. walking these hills is easy. A water spring can be found in every valley. Horses, cows, or sheep keep you company all day, and villages or huts where you can replenish your supplies are not too far from the border ridge along which I headed further east. The next peak on the way greeted me with fog and wind. However, it would be more convenient if the sun greeted me here. For the Basques, the sun is the daughter of the earth. The sun has the virtue of warding off harmful spirits that invade the world at night. In Basque folk art, you can often find signs representing the sun on tombstones, on the facades of houses and monuments. This solar cult is very old, and you can get closer to it here than anywhere else, because this very area includes an impressive number of 10 dolmens, 63 barrows, 107 cromlechs, and 232 hut foundations. The area of this peak is a unique, sacred necropolis and has its inherent place in Basque history. In the next valley to the east, you will find an unguarded hut where you can take a shower and refill your water supply for free. But you can't sleep inside. Nevertheless, I recommend resting because the next peak will be over 2,000 meters high. Pic d'Ory is the first more than 2,000 meters high peak in the eastern direction of the trail if you follow the border between France and Spain like I do. You can see its shape from great distances, and according to Basque legends, the peak was the site of a witch's sabbath. But I'm not coming here for history. I come here because I decided that I want to collect as many highest peaks as possible on my way through the Pyrenees. But climbing this peak has another, more personal meaning for me. You know from the second episode of this series that I took my dad with me on the trip. My dad left me in 2017, and this peak is 2,017 meters high. I like these little signs, and thanks to them, my dad also has a wonderful view of the surrounding countryside. Just look around. This is the Basque country at its best. In the next episode, I will take you on a tour of a deep canyon, but also on other peaks on the way across the Pyrenees. The main event will be the ascent of the iconic peak called Pic d'Agny. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel to support production of more videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.